Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Chat, Good News in Politics with Julian Hoers. I'm Julian Hoers, and it's Monday, the 1st of June, 2020. So, today I have a bit of a special question from someone who wanted to know, well, they asked me straight up, how can I get involved in politics? How can I affect change? Seeing what's going on in America, seeing what's happened in the UK with Brexit, seeing how we're always hearing about how bad things are going in across the world, how can I get involved in politics and how can I make a change? Now, this is a really interesting question. This is something that, a lot of my friends have asked me, and I know a lot of people always say, look, politics isn't accessible to normal people. We don't know how we can make a difference when we have all of these rich organizations, funneling money into the preferred parties or preferred candidates to push their agendas, to make their moves, to really go forward in their initiatives and make sure that what they want to happen happens and that it only benefits them. But politics doesn't need to be like that. And as the show is about helping you guys understand what's going on and helping you guys find your place in politics, I'm happy to give this quick video, explain to you guys what you guys can do to get involved in politics and avoid situations from devolving effectively. Now, the first thing that you need to do if you want to get involved in politics is that you need to get informed. Now, by getting informed, I'm not talking about listening to YouTube videos or some videos or finding Facebook pages that share something that you think is correct or looking on Twitter and seeing what the popular accounts are saying. That's not how you get informed. That's how you end up following what someone else says. You want to get informed? Start reading newspapers. The ones that I always keep an eye on are things like The Guardian in the UK, Wall Street Journal, the Financial Times. In France, you have Le Monde and Le Figaro if you want to practice your French at the same time. There are newspapers that are reputable for a reason. People are always talking about the mainstream media being corrupt, but in my experience and in my professional opinion, that is not the case. Every newspaper has its own agenda, its own political leanings. Of course, you've got some that are more free market, you've got some that are more socialist in some ways. But if you look at the big newspapers, they became big because they tell the truth and they're respectful. There's a reason people like myself and other professionals are constantly reading these newspapers, that we're constantly looking at the online websites. They are reputable, they tell you what to do. Not only that, but you can also start, if you have the patience or you have the interest, start reading about how politics works. You've got a number of political textbooks that can help you to understand what's going on. There are a number that I can recommend, and I'm going to put in the description of the YouTube video because it's easier to do than on Spotify and Anchor and all these sites. But I only really started to get a grasp with politics when I got to university and did my undergrad and started studying politics. Obviously, I started learning about politics back in 2001 after the 9/11 attacks because for me it was a great moment and it was a moment to understand what was happening and why this had happened. And this led to me developing my initial interest in politics. Not everybody has that. Not every young person ends up coming home from school and seeing the Twin Towers falling down on fire. And that's a good thing because it means that the world's a little bit safer and you've got little children that are a little less scared on the playgrounds. But there is a thing to be said about having these almost catastrophic events, pushing people to learn about politics, and not everybody has that. It happened slightly in some ways during 2016 referendums and elections, but we need to give people a reason to study. And a way to do this is learn yourself. Learn what's happening in politics. Learn why systems work the way they do, and then impart that knowledge on other generations. I'm pretty sure that by constantly pushing and talking about politics within my own family, I've encouraged people to look into it deeper. I've seen friends of mine get more involved in politics after they asked me a question like, what the hell's going on? I explained to them and they were like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Where can I learn more about this? This is something that you can do yourself and that you can involve yourself in, and a way that you can encourage other people to learn about politics the right way. I mean, I hesitate to say the right way, but if you understand the way the systems work, you understand how you can influence politics better. You can understand how you can get involved better. You understand how you can be better informed because You're not going to be listening to populist claptrap. You're not going to be listening to the nonsense that people spout on social media. You're going to be telling the truth. You're going to be explaining what's actually happened in a truthful manner. And that's what's important in politics to begin with. You can't operate effectively in the political realm without having basic knowledge and robust knowledge at that. Now, the next part of getting involved in politics, and it's not necessarily the most important, but it helps a lot, is join a party, join a community organization, join an NGO and support them in their activities. Join a group that reflects your values and that you think that you can contribute to in a positive manner. I mean, for example, every single town or city in the UK, for example, where a lot of my watchers and followers on Twitter are, every single town and city has a chapter of the Labour Party or the Liberal Party or the Socialist Party or the Tories or the Lib Dems or anything. Same thing for any expatriates who are living abroad in different regions. If you're French, you have the circonscription des étrangers. You have the circonscription des Français établis hors de France, for example, and every single political party has a chapter outside of France. So, for example, I've done work with La République En Marche in the UK, now in the Netherlands, in the Benelux area overall. Every single organization, party has these chapters. Same thing for things like Amnesty International. They have chapters across every single country because they understand how important it is to get citizens involved from abroad. It's important, and of course, not everybody knows what party they would like to join. Not everybody knows what organizations they want to join, and a lot of people don't even know what their political leanings are. I mean, there are a number of tests that you can take that will help you to understand how you feel about politics better, what your important views are, what you believe you should be supporting instead of what you may be supporting now. I mean, for example, my political life has had a journey itself. I mean, I went from supporting Labour back in 2010 to becoming disillusioned with British politics and just not really paying attention anymore for a few years. And then in France, I voted for Sarkozy in 2012. You know, there I supported the La Républicain or l'UMP in France for a number of years before in 2016, 2017. I ended up switching to La République En Marche because they respected my values better and represented them in a more positive light. We all have our political journeys and things change. I mean, a lot of people tend to fall back on tribalism and I'm Labour until I die. That's it because my parents were Labour and their parents were Labour and my area is Labour. That's not necessarily the best way to get engaged in politics. That means that in some ways you may not be actually contributing to a party that really respects your values. Of course, these parties are broad churches, so you have the right wing of the Labour Party, the centre, the left, same thing as with the Tories, same thing as with the Lib Dems. But you do need to pick a party, if you're going to, that respects your values and supports what you want to do in the world and in your local communities. Aside from that, if you're interested in human rights, you need to join a human rights group. These are the organizations that really focus on what you would be passionate about and which would give you a platform to affect change in the best way you could. If you're in America right now and you want to campaign for better equality or you want to get involved with the cause against racial inequality in the US, you'd want to join a party that would respect those values. In that case, it would probably be the Democratic Party right now. Or you join an organization like Black Lives Matter or some other group that is actually working towards these goals in a cohesive manner. You want to get involved with the groups that represent your views and that want to do what you want to do. Because otherwise, if you're just joining a party just to join a party or an organization just to have it on your list, it's not going to effectively get you involved in politics. Okay? You're just going to end up sitting in a party. If you go to a meeting, you'll be bored. You're not going to agree with most of what people are saying. You're going to find yourself lost. And quite honestly, that is going to push you out of politics quicker. That's going to make you lose interest. And politics is already a hard enough thing to keep interest in. I can tell you now that after having been involved in politics in some way, shape, or form, either as an observer or as an active participant, for almost 19 years now, you're going to get really bored at some point, and you're going to need to have a passion that's actually going to push you forward into politics. Okay, you're going to need to have something that's going to keep you engaged. You're going to need to have something that's going to make you want to keep getting involved and make you want to keep trying to make a good, positive change in the world. I mean, I know a lot of people who, after they got involved for maybe a few months out during the Brexit referendum in the UK, and then when the result didn't go their way, and when it was something that didn't inspire them, they lost interest completely. And I mean, it's understandable. I mean, a lot of people after the referendum felt like they've been slapped in the face. And it's why a lot of the parties and the groups that popped up afterwards were really driven by anger and unease and unhappiness, which again is not a positive thing, but it's an effect of being in politics, because politics is hard. Okay? Politics is a really, really tough thing to get involved in, because you're going to take a lot of losses. You're going to see how bad things can really get in the world. I mean, if you really understand how the international system works and how politics works, and particularly how politicians like Donald Trump can abuse the lack of information, knowledge that individuals have, you're going to find yourself in a really dark place, because you're going to understand how manipulative politics can be. But the way to overcome that is to just keep hope. It sounds really corny. It sounds really Obama-y, which a lot of people may not like. It seems very much like a wishy-washy, nonsensical thing, like keep hope, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, silver linings, blah, blah, blah. But it's true. If you want to be involved in politics, you need to look at yourself and really think, can I keep hope? Can I keep my hope alive? Can I keep this hope and keep pushing forward to make the world a better place? Because I can tell you right now that sometimes you just don't want to do it. Sometimes you're going to think the battles are too big. You're going to think the cause is too out there. You're going to think that it's too impossible. You're going to think it's too nonsensical to even consider doing this. But if you have hope that you can make a change, if you have hope that things can be better, if you have hope that things can improve, and if you have hope that you can make meaningful change, then you can do it. It takes a long time. People, for example, let's look at what's happening right now in America, that people have been pushing for racial equality and fighting for it for centuries now. And we're still at a point where a black man was killed by a police officer purely because he was deemed to be a criminal because of the color of his skin. This is something that has been going on for centuries, and you're gonna see there are videos going around of people saying they're tired, that what they've been doing hasn't been working, and that they need to find a better way, and that other generations have to find a better way as well. And that's sadly a reality of politics. It's not going to take a few months to a few years to make that change happen. It's not going to take a few decades even. It can take lifetimes to make the world a better place. It can take lifetimes to make change. It can take lifetimes to really push forward the positive policies that we want to push forward. I mean, let's put it into perspective. It took almost 50 years, 50 years just about, for the European Union to be founded in the way we know it now. That took the entire political lives of some politicians. The European Union has been around in its current form for maybe as just under the amount of time I've been alive. So, and it's really something that's, people like myself who want to see a strong European Union that protects our countries are going to be fighting for the rest of our lives. These things, they don't take seconds, they don't take minutes, they take lifetimes. And that's something that you need to be aware of when you're getting involved in politics, because if you want to really make change, you need to commit yourself to it. This isn't to say that, do what some of us do and just ignore your social life or ignore the other things that make you happy in the world. But you need to be aware that if you want to be involved in politics, it is hard work. You can do it. You can do it. It's not so hard that it's impossible, But it's hard in that it is a constant grind. It is a daily battle. It is a monthly, yearly, decadely battle. It's something that you're going to need to commit yourself to for a long time. I mean, this is something that you need to be aware of. But if you want to be involved in politics, and if you genuinely believe that you can make a change or that change needs to happen in society, then you're going to find that way to do it. If you have the hope inside of you to keep going forward, if you have the belief inside of you that things can be better, then you will find the way. Every single person has a different motivator for what keeps them going in politics, whether that be some form of duty, whether that be some kind of hope, whether that be some kind of belief that they have to do this, or whether it's their mission in life. This is what keeps them going. This is the kind of thing that keeps me going. This is what kept me going throughout the years of working on Brexit. This is what keeps me going now. This is what has kept me going for almost 19 years, that something can be better, that this policy shouldn't be in place, so we need to find that, so that this country can become a better country by doing X, Y, and Z, that France can become a greater country by adopting these policies, that people should be allowed equality across the board regardless, that people should be able to marry who they want, or date who they want, or do what they want regardless of their background, or regardless of their sexual orientation, or their race, or their skin color, or the pigmentation, whatever. This is what drives me, this is what drives other people, and this is what will hopefully drive you if you choose to get involved in politics. You just need to find what makes you passionate and find a way of putting that into your work in politics. Find a party that represents what you believe in, or find an organization if you don't want to get involved in a party, and just work. And it doesn't need to be national, it doesn't need to be international. It can just be local. You can just join a local community group that's fighting for local issues. You can find that politics isn't just about the great domestic battles in parliaments or senates. It's not about the great battles between states in pushing political policy. It's not about the big things. The small things matter as well. The small things matter as much as the big international issues. And often times it is the small things that really matter when it comes to what happens in international politics. Working with your local MP can change his mind about a number of issues. You have no idea how much change you can actually affect, but you can't affect that change unless you get involved. And this is why I'm happy that someone asked me this question, because hopefully listening to this video, they're going to get the impetus to move forward and engage in politics, to get involved in what's happening, and to really push forward with making the world a better place, because that's what we should all be aiming for. Yeah, it may be a bit existentialist, but we don't necessarily have any meaning to our lives, so we need to make our meanings ourselves. All right. If that meaning is making the world a better place, then great. If that meaning for your life is make other people happy, or make someone smile once a day, or make people get involved in something that they're passionate about, then good. You've succeeded. You've given your life meaning, you've done something well, and that's what's important. But anyway, guys, before I go off on a complete existential tangent, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. I hope that some of you have gotten some inspiration from this video, and that you're getting some information that is helping you guys to make decisions in your political lives and your personal lives. As I'm always saying, these videos are about engaging with you guys and helping you guys to understand how the world's working, how politics is changing day to day, what's going on in the world, and to help you guys be better informed, to make better decisions. Please, if you like this video, like and subscribe. It helps me a lot with getting people more information, and every time I get a new subscriber, I'm getting a new question. So quite honestly, this is working. I mean, I'm not going to be one of those people who's going to be chasing after like big subscriber numbers. I have no interest in being like PewDiePie or something, or that guy who yells and plays that character, Tim Oliver or something. I'm not going to get involved with. I'm not going to be pushing this just to make a name for myself. I'm doing this purely to help you guys out and help you guys to understand what's going on. So anyway, guys, I hope that you had a great weekend. I'm wishing you guys a great week. Things are improving rapidly across Europe right now with coronavirus. So people are starting to see deconfinement realized, and people are starting to see lives are regaining some kind of normality and being able to see their friends or the family they've not seen for almost 3 months now. I mean, it's been 2.5 months since I went into lockdown on the 15th of March. So, you know, things are looking up. But anyway, guys, you've got other playlists full of questions that people have been asking me. I've got a few of my interviews across the playlist as well. So please, if you're interested in what I do, check it out. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. You can find my website. You can find me on just about any platform, actually. But guys, thank you again for tuning in. I hope that you guys are having an enjoyable time looking at this. Share these with your friends and family. It helps me out a lot. Ask friends of yours to give me feedback, sending questions they have. And let's keep this going, guys. Let's keep up the hard work. Let's keep doing what we need to do. And let's keep making this world a better place. Anywho, have a nice day. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Take care.